Mm-mm.
There you go.
Actually, okay, we're technically live right now. There's no more. There's no more introduction.
That's just it.
Okay,
All right.
hello
Literally live.
everyone.
Cut to
Technically,
live.
there's no one yet watching, but for the people who are watching this in the future who are recording, we had some technical
Tech
difficulties. Normally,
difficulties,
we would start
yes.
with an introduction to let people pull in, but today we have, yeah, we today we're just gonna get into the episode. And for those of you who are already aware of it, we're talking about the Song of Ice and Fire tabletop miniatures game, and our guests today are Jay, aka Manongard, and Owen, chapter master of Gamers Shop, joining us today. So normally on a stream we would wait for a few people. Right now there's no one watching it. Kai, tama ba?
We have
I
six.
cannot
We have
see
six
it because I
people.
have no access.
Okay, so
We
this
have
is the
six
best.
people right now.
Oh, right, there you go.
One of them is Lucas. One of them is John Louis Ambao. You have eight people.
All right. So
Yes,
we have our
yes.
poor fellows in Lucas. So for this episode, Admin Josh is manning the stream for the first time. And Kaizen and I will be interviewing our esteemed guests for Song of Ice and Fire. So before we begin, maybe we can do a roundtable lang. Owen and Jay have a bit of introduction about yourselves and the hobby. Introduce yourselves as Philippine Tados and what you guys have been doing, stuff like that.
Go ahead, Owen. Go first.
Sige. Hi, hello. I'm Owen. I'm part of Philippine Tados, and I am a war gamer. I've been playing 40k KOS in the past, and now my latest love is Sif. So a Song of Ice and Fire, the miniatures game. So yeah, so that's me.
Yeah.
Right,
See, Owen
I'm
actually
Jay.
attended a workshop with us before. So
Yes.
his entry in the glow up is also from the workshop. And then we have CJ.
Yeah, new gamer, fresh out of college. So
New gamer. New
so this is
gamer,
my
he
Yay!
says.
first system. This is my first system. Trying to get my feet wet. This is Song of Ice and Fire. So happy to join the stream. Been a member of Philippine Tados from the get go, I think. Yeah, and I've
Yeah.
learned a lot from my Kuya Louie, for example, and Kuya Josh. Yeah.
It is. If you guys go back to the first year that we were active, we would do finish na Fridays regularly, and then si Manong Guard or si Jay would always post like 23 miniatures done in the week, 45 miniatures done in the week. So yan yung beginner painter natin, guys. Best beginner painter. But we're not here to talk
Yeah.
about Jay's past skills. We're here to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire. We've been talking about it a lot, and it's basically CMON's tabletop miniature game, and it's played in trays. It's a war game. It's, I would say, starting out. But basically, you put your miniatures on these tiny traces, magbabanggaan kayo. It's like old world, you could say. But mas nauna to dumating sa Pilipinas kesa sa old world. So let's get on with the questions and topics for today. Just for other people who have joined the raffle, just so you know, we have giveaways at the end of the stream, so stay tuned. So first question, guys. This is for Owen and for Jay. Both of you are both prolific hobbyists and gamers, meaning you're like Jay who paints fast, marami kang nagagawang projects, or you're like Owen who has a lot of experience organizing games in both Civ and Warhammer. And compared to the other games that you play, what makes Song of Ice and Fire different? And what makes it like your quote unquote first love on top of the other war games you've tried? We can do Owen J per question.
I can go
Okay.
first kasi feeling ko mas in-depth yung sagot ni Jay sa question.
Mm,
Um, So yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, my background on wargaming started out with AOS and then 40k and then ngayon Civ. Um, what drew me to Civ compared to the other war games really was the lore initially because I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I read all the books, even the novellas as well. Watched the series. Sad ending, but yeah, the series as well. Um,
Don't
but
spoil
yeah, and
this.
then
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
okay,
What
don't
ending
get
we're
your hopes
talking
up.
about?
Stop at season 6 siguro. Parang ganun.
Wow.
Mm.
But yeah, the Police of the Lore got into the game, and I wanted to try something that I can play with my wife as well. So that was like a big draw. Like Game of Thrones as a theme was accessible. So we both watch the series. Um, but yeah, and then I chose for my starting factions was Night Watch and the Free Folk para thematic. Labasan ba ng backlog niya? Wait lang. Kakarating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
The
Yaman ng
game.
mga nagsa-Song of Ice and Fire. Puro Amazon.
Yan, backlog.
We have a poor fellow
10
tayo.
years in games pala, syempre. Okay, but what is it? What is it about it? Why? Kasi ako, ay nag 40k ako. I'm about to try to AOS. Why is SIP such a standout for you? Especially for you,
It's,
kasi you've played a lot of similar games our other Tados have
Yeah.
played.
yeah. So for Sif, it's the alternating activation thing of the aspect of the game. Plus, there's the sideboard thing, the tactic zone. It's part of the game because normally, what you play in a war game is everything on the board, while this Sif has a side mini game that interacts with the main board. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Political arena. Yeah.
yeah, the political, yeah, but it symbolizes the political intrigue, political arena of the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. And the interaction between that and the game and the alternating activation makes it more engaging, I think. Whereas compared to Warhammer, there's my only other background in wargaming is that you take turns out like the whole turn
I go, you
just
go.
sit there just watching your opponent move their figures. So they move everything, they shoot with everything, and then it's your turn. Whereas with Sif, it's like I move one unit, you move one unit, and then that that
Medyo
interaction.
fair, parang fair play siya or mas engaging yung play
Yeah,
niya kasi sa nanonood ka lang ng kalaban mo.
yeah, and the tactical decisions that come with it, and how you position your mid or trays on the board really is a lot more like interesting for me, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, the time it takes to play is a huge factor. Like you're done in an hour, 1 hour and a half at most. Whereas in 40k AOS you can take up to like three hours, 4 hours. So I think you get more games in. So that's like a difference for me.
Hindi ka pa pagod. Parang I may be jumping the gun then in our conversation, but when Jay held a tournament a few months ago, we played 4 games of A Song of Ice and Fire and hindi pa tayo napagod. Dude,
So had
4
energy.
turns, 4 turns of 40k, pare, laspag na ako nun, dude. Nothing against
Yeah.
40k, but it's just a good comparison if you're in the mood for longer or shorter gameplay. But let's hear from Jay. What si Jay yung actually pinaka-senior sa amin in terms of being in SIF. In SIF, being in SIF.
Sige, so even if I'm a new gamer, I have and I own more than 100
Oh my God, Jay, stop.
miniature systems. Miniature.
He's in his house,
So
by the way. That's not the game
I own
shop.
more than 100 miniature gaming systems. So I'll be honest about that. And I played most of them. I played competitively in, I think, most of the competitive miniature gaming scenes here in Manila for the past 20 years, 24 years actually. Um, and let me start by saying that I believe to each its own season, right? So there's nothing like hugely preferable about one system over another, but it scratches a different itch. And if we're talking about
Mm.
unique value proposition, having played all these 100 plus systems, I think I agree with Owen on his points. If I place pretty briskly, it's uh, it has this interesting interaction between the tactics board and the combat board, and then it's a modern. I call it a modern system, which is I go, then you go, then I go, then you go. Things like MCP or Star Wars Legion. You'll see that most systems being developed now, even Conquest, for example, is a I
Correct.
go then you go system. Okay, So yes, on all of those things, and then the lore, of course. I was saying 11 years before people were crying over the Red Wedding, we already were shocked
Oh.
about that when we read the books when it came out. So I've always been a Game of Thrones fan, and having played all these systems, I think what it scratches for me is the fact that it is meant to be played competitively, but you can play it casually. So there are very few times that the rules are ambiguous, that the movement is non-precise. And in this game, it's really, I believe, one of the highest skill caps in all miniature war games. So if you're into that, if
Mm.
you're into winning because you outplayed your opponent rather than built a better list, or if you're into really studying a system in depthly, knowing the interactions between all the rules and the timing, then system might be good for you. In in the Philippines, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a community of competitive war gamers. So you see a lot of
Mm.
assimilation of people like um, who traditionally play trading card games, Magic, Flesh and Blood, things like that,
Yeah.
because that's a really competitive system. Um, it's that for for wargaming, except there's a spatial component, and there's no blind boxes or like rare pulls or whatever, right? So
Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah, no gotcha. Yun. So I think that's the thing that drives me is the fact that I see all the players, bar none, who
Mm.
started like last year, getting better and better. And I
Yes.
know that people celebrated my first loss last 2 weeks ago. My first loss.
Was not gonna bring it up, but glad you did.
Congrats, Lance.
Yeah, I
Congrats,
know,
Lance is in the
no.
Let's
chat.
go, Lance!
Yeah. Lance is in the chat,
That
so
was a
congratulations,
solid
Lance.
effort.
Yeah. So, but
Singaling.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. So it's I like playing the big bad. It's driving people to get better, and Asia is actually celebrating that loss apparently. So it's a good time to enter the hobby. Both if you want to be part of this competitive community of like people like Louis, Owen, Lance, a bunch of other people, right? People from Project 7, and of course, War Jeepney, War Tilio, we're all there. But if you want to play casually, um, well, that has a space as well. In fact, I don't know,
Yeah.
Louis, we started a campaign, a very casual campaign, and people are trying to kill each other already. But it is casual
Week
and
one
just
pa lang.
fun. Yeah,
We
week
even have
one.
a campaign map. We even have like,
Mm.
we're role playing pa. But I agree with Jay,
Yeah.
no? It's a good time to get into Civ. Ang background ko similar to Owen kasi, and it was enticing when Jay was telling us. We were playing Civ for the first time. And Jay was saying he organized this tournament that CMON, the creators, have noticed or have actually urged us to do. So it's quite interesting na we're used to playing big popular games where the distributor or the seller or the creator parang tingin nila sa atin parang a small number in their pie chart. But with
Mm.
Simon, I think we feel the appreciation na feeling nila with the 16-player GT or 16-player na we held. Parang it's a big deal for them, and it makes me feel so involved as a member. So I think that's something that Philippine Tados can sort of relate to also because we grew this to a 2,000 people strong, and we feel the same when we play Civ. Na feeling namin nasa umpisa lang kami. And for the modelers and painters there, this is the killer talaga that got me into Civ. Enzo, if you're watching, got me into Civ. And I didn't want to get into a new game system kasi addict na tayo sa Warhammer eh. But when I saw the swords, these come pre-built. No need to build. They're on the bases. When I saw the swords, tas ginaganon ko siya, pare sobrang tibay. Actually, I've dropped these miniatures, man. They're like the sturdiest miniatures ever. The details are good. Sabi ko, kahit if I don't play this, super fun to paint. Right out of the box, you base it, you prime it, you paint it. Tapos, meron ka pang makasamang malaking base for thematic purposes. So, okay siya if you are, not a gamer in the Philippine Tados. I recommend just get like one box of something. Get a Jon Snow, get an Arya Stark or something, get a starter box. Just paint it. Okay siya. It's a nice break from our usual stuff that we paint. So,
And Louis, it's
I'm
one of
glad.
the cheapest to
Yeah.
start. It's one of the
Correct.
Yeah.
cheapest to start.
It is
That's
true.
a good point. What's the buy-in?
8,500, you have a tournament. 8,500, you have a tournament
Yeah.
competitive army. And
Correct.
And
right
And that's just
now,
your
there is
starter
no
and
painting
not the usual
requirement,
box.
right? Kasi they come
Yan
mhm,
pa.
ready to play out of the box. Eh. Diba?
yep.
The only thing
You
lang
don't
hindi
have
dito
to
sa
build
painting army is
anything. That's
lalait
a
ka lang.
huge thing.
Oh, lalaitin ka lang. Lalo na kapag Philippine Tados member ka,
Lalaitin,
lalaitin ka
shame.
lang. But
Oh,
that's it.
definitely.
That's it. But you
Definitely.
can still play.
RTN1 may nag-field na Philippine Tados admin ng not fully painted army. Wow.
Sino kaya yun, no?
Pero third place pa yun, no? Grabe. What more kung
Uh,
fully painted pa yun, no? Pero nung nag-fully painted ako,
finals,
8-2.
final table, final table. Yeah, final table.
Final table pa. Yun. So that's great, guys. So I like that question kasi I think it gets everyone an idea of what the game is about and what the game is about here. Kasi I want Pilipintados to sort of try it. Okay yung models. They're all elegantly posed. Very, very good for the project we have.
I think
So
just to
we're
add,
sort of...
Louis,
Go ahead.
yeah, positioning is super important here. It's the
Yeah.
only game where when you get flanked, I play a lot of rank and flank games. You're
Mm,
screwed. If you get rear charge, you're screwed. So
correct.
it's not as if it's end game, but that's a
It,
deep
it,
hole you need
it
to
has
climb
a
out
huge
of.
impact.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yan
So
yung
so
maganda. It's easy to
in
learn.
this
Hard to
amazing
master.
system, you can actually it's so much like chess. You can actually create situations where there's no way for you to be charged. Right, and I'm
Correct.
actually Lance knows this. There were our finals game had like all of my units unchargeable, something like that, at a certain point in the game. So yeah, so it's amazing the amount of depth you need to master in terms of positioning. That I think things like this or maybe like X-Wing offer, diba? Like
Mm.
more than any other games.
It's good you brought that up kasi I realized or I remembered why I love this game. Kasi yung mga Warhammer players dyan na slowly losing interest or having a hard time. I'm not saying you should stop playing Warhammer. No, Warhammer solves its own itch, like what Jay said. But the allure to me was the rules are written very easily and simple to understand. But once you start playing it, you'll realize there's so many ways to skin a cat in a game. Even if you read the rulebook once, parang ma-open yung mind mo to several different gameplay styles. One army can be played in like there's an aggressive list, there's a defensive list, there's a mobile list, and that's just one army. You don't have to shift factions to shift game styles. And also, all your cards, it has a card dealing system. So all the rules you need to know for that turn are in your hand. So it's very, very rare na may makakalimutan kayo. As a beginner, it's a feel-good experience. And then, nasa decision mo na lang to get active or play more games. I may be jumping
Mhm.
the horse, but we have a game day on Friday, so let us know if you want to join. The three of us will be there in the side quest ba? Tama ba, Owen? Side quest.
Side Quest Cafe.
Yeah,
Side
side
quest.
quest. Yeah.
We
So,
lure streets
yun,
for this game.
Ay, Gio, kamusta? Ayan, Baratan player si Gio, mga adik. Also, the lore makes it easy to roleplay. So, but we're bordering
Yeah,
a little bit of
there are these
pressure.
arrogant guys who play Night's Watch and who keep screaming in the tournament. I hate it.
So just a background on that, no, like the lore is really embedded into the game. Like, so Louis mentioned there's a card system for the game, and if you're following the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire, the Night's Watch have their vows, right?
Yeah.
So the vows of the Night's Watch were used as cards. So each card has a line in the vow. So for example, there Louis showing it, the shields in the realms of men. It's a defensive card. So when we play it on the game, we kind of have to recite that vow and say, "The shields in the realms of men."
Let me clarify.
Zero
You don't need to do that. They just choose to do
You
it.
don't need to do that. You need to do that, but it's
But it
it's
feels
fun.
nice. I'm taking from experience. It feels nice to say. Tsaka that's what I like about the growing community, guys. When you come in, when you join, you have the chance to sort of build how the culture is. But we're sort of boarding for the next question, which is great. Because I wanted to ask you guys that I'm sure you can all observe na medyo we are a budding community or we're sort of in the renaissance period of song. Song is the short form, guys. Song. So if for the people watching now, they may be interested and they want to know what's happening, can you share a little bit to the Tados? What are the events happening in the community? And then where do you think the community will be in like the next months or next years or so if we keep this trajectory?
Siguro I'll answer that, Louis. When we restarted this post-pandemic, because we had a bunch of us, now, mostly from War Jeepney, had Kickstarters from maybe 3 years ago, which was just sitting like somewhere in a shelf, I'm sure. But we restarted the game post-pandemic, simply to make sure that LGS like Gears and Games can get like a revival of their parang sleeping stock and everything. And as you mentioned, like a few months in, CMON contacted us, well, me, and was interested in flying over, which they did, just to talk about how we can grow the community. At that point, there were maybe like 10 people, maybe eight people, 10 people who were playing actively. Owen was one of them.
Oh,
Um,
shit.
and he was saying that in Singapore, their active base is 20. So I'm very proud of the community that right now, a 16-player tournament, which we had to cap because we just needed to do 1 day and 4 rounds, and the venue was limited as well. The slots ran out in an hour, and this was like at
Oh.
8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Right by 9 p.m. I think I opened the registration at 8 p.m. By 9 p.m. all the slots were taken. So that's huge, right? For a very small community. And the other thing is people like these guys, no, I hate them, but the poor fellows actually drive the numbers up because of their zeal. The kind of culture that we have here is really maybe not for everyone, I guess, but it's really fun. It's a lot of trash talking, in good fun, of course.
In good
A
fun,
lot
yeah.
of challenging, and everyone's very boisterous. And at the core of it, I think everyone's rooting for everyone else. Hopefully, I'm right, right?
Yep.
To the point that in a few months from September, I think September to now. So what is that? September, October, November, December. 5 months, let's say, we have gotten some of our top players in the top 50 already. For the longest time, we had one player in top 10 of Asia, but now there are
Wow.
5 in top 50, right? So
Yeah.
that's great. So and the people who play here, both Louis and Owen, are in that top 50 already of Asia. So something to be proud of. We're looking to
Okay.
send people over, maybe the top 10 players of the Philippines to the regionals in November in Thailand. And the fact that CMON Asia and people who play in Singapore and in Thailand, as well as Indonesia, are going to fly over here to actually participate in some of our events. Yeah,
Shit.
because they hate Louis. They hate Louis.
Wow.
Actually, share ko lang rin, no? Because a shout out to Lance, who is, our Wartilio guy. And he was sharing that in European cultures in Warhammer, the French, when they go to an international tournament, he says they're like a hive mind. Parang all the French, even if they know they're gonna compete against each other in the tournament, they sort of have the same strategies, or they talk amongst each other, and then they help each other develop strategies. And for some reason, the last tournament, si Boss Owen, I, Enzo, and a few other poor fellows na sinabi ni Jay, we had this short online meeting on Discord. And then we looked at everyone's competitive list for that tournament. And then we sort of like shared our ideas and strategies. And then the fellows came to the tournament with a PDF of our handouts. So naglalaro kami ng tournament, may handouts kami sa gilid. Oh, avoid ko to, attack ko to, ganyan-ganyan. It's kind of interesting, guys, if you haven't been in a competitive hobby. I know this is a painting group, but it's a tangent of ours. We come with painting, and I'm sure some of you guys are into gaming. It's a good scratch friendly itch. And when I say friendly, manalo matalo, nagro-role play lang tayo lahat dito eh. We're all just acting like lords and ano dito eh. So, something of interesting to
Yeah,
note.
yeah,
Eh,
and there's something to be
Owen.
said about
Yeah,
team
go ahead.
sports, right? So right now there are various teams inside the SIF community. There's War Jeepney, of course. There's Wartilio, Nila Lance. There's Poor Fellows. I don't know these weirdos who call themselves Poor Fellows. There's people from Project Seven. They call themselves P7, I think. And then Manila East is there as well. So lots of small burgeoning teams, diba? But what will happen is when we get to nationals and finally determine the top 10 players of the Philippines, that all goes away. My hope is we form a Philippine team. And that's the reason why post nationals, we have a break before we need to get to regionals in Thailand. Because to me, that will be time to train as a team. And hopefully I'm part of that 10. But if I'm not, then someone has to take charge of that as well.
Wow.
You'll be the coach, Jay, regardless.
Coach J. Coach J. So someone was
And
asking where we can get boxes. Definitely Gears and Games. I think the only ones who officially, can I say that they
Amazon
officially
has it.
distribute?
Yes, I
Yeah,
think they do.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but
Amazon
the
has
reason
one.
why alam mo nang tayong hobbyists, we want to push FLGSS because if the more companies notice sales here in the Philippines, the more they'll support here. So we want to buy from Gears and Games. Kung walang stock, order tayo through Gears and Games. Kung wala, and there is Amazon. So Gears and Games carries a lot of starters. In fact, we lose more money than we gain whenever we play tournaments there. Kasi after a tournament, bibili agad kami.
may
So,
baon pa, Owen.
may baon pa ako eh. So, Gears and Games, guys, or Fortress.com, you guys can check the stocks there out. Later, they will be giving away 2 paint sets to two followers of their Facebook page.
Ah,
So, like their Facebook page. Army painter sets yan, if I'm not mistaken. Or possibly P3. I'm not sure.
Mm.
Yun. Eh, ikaw, Owen, how do you find community now? What do you think about the future? Especially tayo, we're so involved into the community now.
Yeah, well, sa ngayon, nagbubuduran lang yung friends namin. So, maya-maya, oh, nabili mo na ba yan? Nabili mo na ba to? So, that's why we call ourselves poor fellows because become poor because of all this game. But that's just a joke, of course, because as it was mentioned earlier, this is a very cheap hobby. Like I've completed 2 full armies at the cost of like partial cost of a Warhammer army, or if you compare it to certain trading card games, a cost of one
Oh
card.
my God.
So, one card, one army. Can't
Mm.
beat that value for money, right?
Less,
Correct.
less,
Yeah,
actually, less.
let's
Correct.
yeah. So yeah, community is great. I mean, yeah, may mga small teams brewing up. Like what started out as a group chat of folks who are interested in just starting out and playing the game grew to a blossoming team, I guess, that's
A
just really
cult.
supporting each other, learn more, get better at the game, and buy more stuff. So um, yeah, and the community is great, right? Like when started playing, I just saw a post from Lucas in the international group, and I'm like, oh, you played a tournament? can I join you guys? And that's when I got to meet Jay and everyone else, and they've been like playing this game more than I was, but they were very welcoming and yeah, really support and challenge as well the newer players in getting better at this game. And ngayon, the campaign and narrative thing, the way it's structured allows actually non-team members to work together because if you have a faction, your faction gets put into alliance and you become allies with other factions that are not your teammates, that people you don't
Hmm.
normally strategize with.
Ayan,
And
kampi
it's
namin si Jay.
interesting.
We wanted to take down Jay for the longest time, and now we're working with him.
Yeah. And about that, like yes, we celebrated Jay's defeat, but of course, when the time comes, we'll be rooting for him and when representing our country, right? And it was a team effort, because like we always share strategies how to be better, right? And yeah, I guess that's the good thing about this community is that we're all open to losing and getting better, and yeah, just enjoying the game more in different ways. So that's
Yeah,
really
shout out to one of
great
your
to see.
teammates, John Louis, who ranked third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Come back from
Mm.
playing
So
last
now
year.
it's time to humble him again. We will humble him again.
I don't know if the people in the watching the stream notice, no, but we like to harp on how these little values we have, competitiveness, friendliness. We like to harp on it because, I mean, to to put it plainly, we have existing hobby groups where we see certain values that we don't like to be part of in our culture. So, parang tayo, we like to cultivate that as early as possible. When you join us, you can take it as an opportunity to be like, it's your way of creating a fresh start in the new community and making a difference. Because imagine if this group gets bigger, it would be a really, really fun group to play with in the long term. Kasi kami, we do talk about tournaments and competitive stuff. But most of the time, we're really just making fun. We're we're laughing a lot during the tournament. So I'm excited for you guys to join and play with us also. And in the painting aspect, we have a Poor Fellows has paint a painting session on March.
Team champ.
So we'll
Yeah.
probably
Oh.
open that to everyone for people who have not seen what these miniatures look like. Join us. We'll show you our armies. We'll show you how we paint them, and then you guys can maybe paint some of our minis also para at least may experience. So
Louis,
yun.
by the way, there's so much support from CMON that they sent us over a demo set. No one has
Oh yeah.
taken it out, but it's with me. If like, I mean, there are people in the core team who, if they want to request to borrow that demo set of Starks versus Lannisters, definitely it's the
Yun.
communities. It's yeah.
Yun. So
Oh.
yun, we're all Tados. We appreciate that Tados is a pretty widespread umbrella. So we also like to respect other communities and glad that we can share the community back to the Philippine Tados. So maybe we should organize nga a game and paint day one of these days. Balikan natin yan. But I
Yeah.
wanted to go back to like something you mentioned, Jay, because you mentioned top 50 players, top 10 players, top whatever Asia. So that's not common in our wargaming stuff. At least from my experience, when I played Warhammer or
Mm.
D&D, it's not common to see like, wow, how do I become a top player? What's the deal with top player in rankings in Civ?
So admittedly, right now, it's dependent on the discipline of the actual organizers in a certain country, right? In the Philippines, we try to be very disciplined in our reporting, where the only matches we report are sanctioned tournament matches. We don't report any casuals. There are movements in CMON taking control of that so that it's a more fair system because there won't be
Mhm.
like over reporting or casual reporting, etc. But at least in the Philippines, that ranking I think is holds some water because we're disciplined. I've seen that in other systems as well, like Infinity, one of the games I used to play. There's an Asian ranking and an international ranking for that. And the only time you are able to get ranked is if you're given a sanctioned tournament code. It's called
Mm.
ITS,
Mm.
Infinity Tournament System. So I hope it moves towards that direction because right now we really don't know about the reporting of other countries. We try to trust, of course, But at least in the Philippines, it's really disciplined. If you're number one in the Philippines, I don't know who that is. I mean, I don't know. But but if you're number one, you're really number one. So yeah.
So see, Jay was talking about a website called a, a song of asoif-stats.com. So it's not an official website by
No.
CMON, but it's a community made website that people all over the world are part of. And CJ sort of introduced it to my group or kami kami, and it's quite interesting kasi you think you're just playing in the Philippines, but once you upload the stats to the site, you see you're sort of playing with the rest of the world. So you can see what are the lists that people are playing with. Kung yung army lists mo are the same as the ones as the champion players there, or if you want to play a specific unit, you can see how other people are doing. Admittedly, there's not a lot of YouTube stuff on A Song of Ice and Fire, but that website is quite interesting and I feel is unique to SIF. When we play our other tabletop games kasi ang community natin is the immediate eh. We feel like while we're just 30 plus strong, we're referencing people that we see online. So like, I'm talking to Owen and be like, oh, I saw this Ireland list na nagpe-play ng conscripts, ganyan-ganyan. Gusto ko rin ng ganyan. And I'm sure my hope is when they see us when they look at the Philippine rankings, they're gonna look at, oh, sino ba tong number one sa Philippines? Ano ba yung list na tinatakbo niya?
Ginagamit
Bakit? Anong
Someone is
ginagamit niya?
asking, Lance is asking, what is in the demo set?
Oh, good question.
It's the old Kickstarter demo, 2-player starter of Starks versus Lannister. So it's the older models, but it's playable. So the cards are old as well. As we know, one thing unique about this, every 6 months there's a churn on the stats for balancing. So we're just coming off of a rebalancing last week, right? So we're playing season 4 now. But
Yeah.
wait yeah. Pwede kunin mo yun.
Yeah, so
Nasa
but
trunk.
last
I'll show you
Jay
the.
was talking about like this list of cards. Yeah, go ahead,
Mhm.
Jay.
Yeah, so one thing interesting about that stats website really was, well, they have two interesting experiences there. One is it sometimes breaks the meta. In fact, Greyjoy was ranked so low. It's like the lowest ranked older set faction in season 3, which was late last year. Now it's second to the highest or third. I think it's still second to the highest ranked faction. And how did that happen? It's the meta and the internet saying Greyjoy sucks, everyone agreeing, and the top players all played Greyjoy just to prove the internet
point.
wrong. I think. Yeah, I think that's I played Greyjoy as well that time, right? So it boosted the ranking so much. And interesting that you called that out, right? So I think um to a certain extent we're getting noticed. Like for example, my Dune Vipers Vargo list was not
Ugh.
being played anywhere. But now I see a lot of posts about Dune Vipers
Oh.
Vargo. Um
Oh.
the stoppage of the stoppage of Rob Stark special outflank, for example, that was new when I played the game where one 8-point unit was not able to deploy the entire game. So there was a ruling that if they're not on the table by the end of the game, that's a casualty. So things like that are innovative, and maybe that's why, unlike most competitive gamers, I don't read internet posts about list building
Mm,
because I
mm,
think it challenges me to think more creatively and find like
mm.
niche interactions that I can probably exploit. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good question in the comments box. I mean, we touched on this in the first question a while ago about what made it unique, but if there's a specific mechanic to the game, what is that thing that sort of pulled you in?
Yeah. Owen, I'm sure we're gonna agree. It's really the tactics board. The
Yeah.
tactics board is brilliant. That's a brilliant design, I have to say.
Yep.
So it actually influences your combat units and gives them actions beyond what they
Mhm.
can do.
Yeah. So
And
Because
of course the cards as well.
normally in a game, right, you only have like one action per unit.
per
Like you
unit
can
on the
only move.
table.
yeah, in your turn in a round, a unit can only do some one thing like move or attack or march, but the the tactics board allow or enable your units to perform additional actions or affect your enemy units as well
Mm,
in a way that it's like it's really into the theme, like the political intrigue having an effect
yeah,
into the battlefield. It's thematic but also mechanically very interesting, and yeah, it's really that interaction between there's a side game because there are war games that are similar to this, like you have trace, you move, I move one unit, you move another unit, but only here we have this like side game on the side that's actually
yeah.
part of the whole bigger game. That's
There are games actually that is hotter there's hotter competition for the tactics board than on the combat board.
Mm,
Like for
Yeah.
example, my loss to Lance was due to tactics board control with was it Esther Lance? I don't remember who you borrowed. So he actually beat me
Crescent,
with a pig
Master
that he
Crescent, I think.
borrowed. So I don't remember. Penrose ba? Penrose, Courtney Penrose, I think. So with that one NCU activation, back-to-back activation, that's the start of the end for me. So really, it's so different. But the other thing that I think we failed to call out is you change commanders, just the commander, the game changes
One model. Yeah.
so it becomes such a different army that you're playing just by
Yeah.
changing one fig, the commander, which comes with what
A deck of cards.
either 8 or 6 cards, right? 6 cards for
Silver six
normal.
cards.
Targaryen has 8. That fills your deck. It plays so differently already. Like for example, playing Victarion Greyjoy versus Asha Greyjoy commanders in Greyjoy will give you a very different experience.
Yeah. I guess
It was
it's
And that's
better
how
Crescent.
easy
Okay,
it is
fine.
to
Shut up,
change the
Lance.
play style, right?
correct. It's better illustrate for people who are used to war games. You look at the table and you're just playing with your combat units, and basically the side table you have your non-combat units. These are people like Shay, the girlfriend of Tyrion Lannister. She never wields a sword, but in a tabletop miniature game, war game, they make a model out of her because after she influences units, let's say she heals them, she also adds another bonus where she sort of gets another enemy unit weakened. I don't know how she makes another enemy unit weakened, but
Use
she
your
can.
imagination.
Use your imagination, di ba? Or like the Lannisters actually, yung playstyle nila, it's mostly on the board. So akala mo ang lalambot ng kalaban mo. Pero when, the Reigns of Castamere plays, which is an actual card, and then the
Terrible.
proper non-combat units are on the zone, all of a sudden, parang the game is not about the battlefield. It's happening outside. So you can there's that duality that is super interesting when you're playing with a tactics board. This comes in the starter set as well, and then normally the starter set comes with two armies that has a group of combat units and non-combat units. So
So
you
that's a
can
two-player starter.
play.
But you don't have
Yeah,
to buy the two-player starter. There are single faction starters, right? So I think that's the better way to go about it if you're not collecting everything. Yeah. And for
yeah.
If
those
you're
of
So
you who
super
don't
into
know
if
interesting.
Shay,
you're into Lannisters and Starks, like the
yeah,
two
bet,
player start
best
is
bet.
a good place to start. Like
Mm,
have a friend, hati kayo.
mm.
You have like
Or
Correct.
keep it
a
all for
Correct.
good
yourself. Or keep it all
foundation,
for yourself.
as Jay would recommend. Yeah.
And for the people who don't know Shay, that's just look up Sibel Kakili, the actress who played Shay in Game of Thrones. But don't
Nakita ko
click
na
on
lang
her
Oh no.
videos. Don't
yung
click on
card
her
na lang niya.
videos
Ayan.
Ah.
unless you're ready.
Yeah. Actually, before we go on, no, I realized, no, maybe for the minority who are watching and who are still watching right now, this game is based off George R. R. Martin's novel, A Song of
Game
Ice
of
and Fire,
Thrones.
or loosely HBO's series adaptation of it, Game of Thrones.
Legally
And I'd
not,
say it's
but
based off the
legally.
novel because, yeah,
Legally
legally
not.
not, exactly.
uh,
So when you play this game, you were basing it off the books. That's why there's so many magical characters. Literal magic. Walang magic kasi sa Game of Thrones. HBO. So here it's quite exciting because the novels are not yet done. Hence, we don't know if there are any more armies that will come in. Wala pa yung White Walkers on books eh. So we don't know if the game will get White Walkers, for example. So you're not only gonna just join a starting community, but the story of the game is not yet done. So that's
And once
also
a
one
year,
thing to look out for.
their commitment is once a year they will come up with a new faction.
Yep.
Bolton's was last year, so we're
Mm,
trying to guess what will come out this year. And I feel it's
yeah.
Brotherhood without banners, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thinking
Sabi
Actually,
ni,
Tully's
natutuwa ako
or
sa
sabi ni
Terrell.
Boltons
Rick,
eh.
time
Meron
to
silang
entice
Greek
Sky into
model.
another black hole.
Yep, exactly,
Uh,
dude. Actually, si Kai has played A
See,
Song of Ice and
I
Fire.
did.
She has not
I did.
played Warhammer yet, but she has played A Song of Ice and Fire.
I mean, eight
I have
five,
played
8-5.
Warhammer naman. I played naman, ikaw naman. Pinagbigyan ko naman si Justin kahit papaano.
Oh,
I
So
that's a
buy
did.
good
her
question.
products. It's just 8-5. Can people pay you in starter sets,
Yeah,
Kaizen?
pwede ba?
Mm.
I think pwede.
Oo. Oo, tinan mo, demo
because
ng mga
I
products niya. May mga
because I really
halaman, may mga
last time I
bases.
tried the game kasi March pa eh. So that was a year ago. I really went from Alabang to GNG just to see the game because it was really an amazing game. Then we got busy. Then hindi ko na siya na-encounter again. Total, nandito na tayo, Jay. When ka magde-demo sa lounge? Like, very looking forward kayo mga
Mm.
Southerners. Kasi, in
Talaga?
South,
Mm.
Do people in the South
yeah.
ask talaga? Hindi nga, like
Yeah, I
Sanico?
mean, yeah. Kasi the
So
only
long as
games we play
Lucas won't be
dito,
there. So long as
Yeah.
Lucas won't be there, I'll demo. I'll demo.
But
wala.
I can
Lucas,
I
Wala,
ah,
can
we're
make the
speaking
trip.
English
sadly.
for you, FYI, Lucas, ah, FYI.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lucas is a
Uh,
Southerner boy now eh. So,
yes.
he's a
No, no, pero
Southie. So, he's
seriously,
probably...
we'll make the trip if there are enough people who are interested. I mean,
Yo.
like people like Dennis David, who's top two right now in the Philippines, is actually a new player, in SIF. We just demoed
Mm.
the game to him and a bunch of people late last year. So
Hindi
I'm
na
very
ulitin
happy
yun.
to fly over to the far south, even if I hate it, to demo the game.
Pilko
Yun.
Kerubin says, "How much does the theme influence you to keep playing the game? Does the game still bring innovative and good design even without the IP?"
Okay,
Hmm.
good question.
Hmm.
I mean, because team is so important. I got into it because I like Night's Watch and Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking to it because the cards are like the oaths. But I feel like I would still enjoy it. Because the rank and flank, the NCU, well, there's nothing like it eh. There's nothing like it talaga. Although it's a good question because I've never thought that to myself. I don't know about you guys. If you
I
take it
think
out of Boruto.
design space wise, it's vast. And one thing that's good about it is when a rule is named this rule, it works the same way
Mm,
no matter what faction, no matter
yeah,
what even if it's coming from your tactics card or it's coming from your order, which is like built in, it's the same rule all across, right?
yeah.
If it's named differently but works the same way, it means it can stack. Right? So
Mm,
that's the rule. But in terms of the design, I think it's brilliant. I have to say, I was a fan of CMON design for miniatures war games because I collected Wrath of Kings, which is their dead game already. I think that was
oh
brilliant.
my
It
god.
had some
That's the one
problems
with the
about
three rin, di ba?
which one?
May three rin yun, di ba? And then may poses yung mga models.
No, 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 no. No,
Okay,
these
Never.
maybe
are
that's the one.
hindi siya eh. Pero army-based din siya. Pero very weird yung mga factions. May factions na pigs sila, ganyan-ganyan. So technics, whatever. Pero it had design problems like their D10 system was flawed. But still fixed a bunch of that. And it's a continuously growing game. Night's Watch, for example, was king for so many seasons, right? And people hated season 3 because they just became stronger after ruling for so long. But now they're not that strong anymore. So I think just to answer the question, theme is important, But even take away the theme, and if you're a person who's into game mechanics and design, like I am, it's brilliant. The only better design game for me is Bushido, but that's something that very few
That's
people
a
play.
different story.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Owen
but
bagay
without
sa
the
itong part na ito.
IP, it's still a good game, right? Like the theme draws people in, keeps them playing, kind of makes the decision easy. Like, oh, I like Greyjoys or I like Night's
Mm,
Watch, um,
mm,
and the lore is also very deep that I don't even know, even after reading the books years ago. Like I've forgotten most of it. So
mm.
like the attachment based on the IP is not that deep, but seeing how the game works and how it plays, that's really it's a hook for me, right?
Mm.
So,
Before we were like when I started out, I'm just gonna collect Night's Watch and I won't think about neutrals. It doesn't make
famous last
sense.
words. Famous last words.
Exactly. And now here we are. Okay, I'm gonna make a head canon again. You can create your own lore in your head. Even like, why
Yeah.
is, for example, why is Arya Stark part of the Night's Watch army
Yeah.
now? And where, so like you can say that, oh, maybe there was a time that she was hiding and the Night's Watch
Correct.
were fighting against wildlings and he was there and she just got involved. So you can create your
Mm.
head canons as well. So again, the game can be played competitively, but you can also create your own narrative stories with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, mechanically, it's just really good. Yeah.
And Owen, di ba, the rules make sense. So Greyjoys are supposed to be this in the book. They actually play like that, right?
Yeah.
For example, Tyrion Lannister does this in the books. He actually feels like Tyrion Lannister, right? When you put him as an attachment or as an NCU, he actually feels like Tyrion Lannister. So the rules make sense. In fact, for example, Aya plays the game, and like in MCP, so it's a different game altogether. But as she watches MCP movie, and MCU movies and shows, the rules start
Mm.
making sense to her, right? Why does the Hulk
Yeah.
do this, etc., etc. It's the same for Sif. If you get into the books or even the show to a certain extent, you'll feel that the rules make sense for that particular unit or individual.
So
So
the lore does help. The IP
a
does
bunch,
help
bunch of
to
people
some
were
extent.
asking in the comments for demos, no?
Mhm.
Going into
Yes,
demos,
demo please.
answering Gio's question, if you're going to give advice to a new player, what factions do you recommend, and what tips on how to learn? Any tips on how to learn the game well?
Yeah.
Uh,
Play. Uh,
yeah. play play a game. Um, yeah, I think the
Well,
best way to get into it is to see how the game plays first. And maybe
so,
ask around and like have an idea of what sort of game style. If you're already familiar with wargaming, have an idea of what play style you want to go into, and maybe look at the factions that fit into that. Because some factions play differently from one another, right? But
mhm.
if you're going into this blind, I just want to play a tabletop game. The miniatures look cool. Pick the faction that you're most attracted to, right? There will
Yeah.
always be a way to play them and play well.
Yeah.
So it's do that. Like pick what you like and start from there. If you don't know what mechanic you like, ask a friend, watch videos for a demo. Um,
You can change it.
yeah, and as
yeah.
Jay said, for playing, getting better at the game, just play, just keep on playing.
Yeah. To build on them what Owen said, if you're gonna stick for the long haul, the game is generally swingy. And when I say that, per turn, you could feel like you're losing this turn, and in the next turn, you'll feel like you're winning. At the same sense, for this season, your army feels like it sucks, but the next quarter, they might change something, tas biglang your army is actually as competitive. It's also swinging in that sense. And to follow Owen's advice, when you stick to an army you like the lore with, mas tatagal ka sa hobby, hindi ka mahihinayang. Kasi ako, Night Shots player, ang pangit-pangit na ng rules namin, pero yung pangalan ng cards namin, masaya pa rin sigawin eh. So, I'm
Um,
still gonna enjoy playing Song of Ice and Fire, man.
yeah, the
And
effects
there's no
change,
faction
but the
that's
titles are the same.
there's no faction that's unwinnable. I
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
would stand by that. And while it's swingy during the game itself, you can't blame dice. It's harder to blame
Yeah.
dice in this game because it's really skill based. I mean, you get outplayed. And we felt that before. But as to what faction, it brings me back to our demos in Baguio. So we went over to Baguio for the um, North Game Con. I forget the name, but we went to Baguio to
Where
do
you saw
that.
your idol,
And
Michelle.
yeah, and then I had to demo to kids and to adults as well. I brought all 10 factions or nine factions who were available at that time. And the way I go about it is I ask them, I give them a short interview. What are you into? If they're playing older miniature war games, like if they're playing 40K, for example, there's usually an analog of what you play. So if you're playing, let's say, Dark Eldar, I would tell you to play Greyjoy if you enjoy that gameplay.
Mhm.
If you like Space Marines, at least last season, I'd tell you to play Night's Watch, right?
Mhm.
But aesthetically, it also Louis had a great point, and Owen as well. If you want to play with dragons, then you play Targaryens, right? If you want to play with elephants and giants, you play Free Folk.
People.
So there's a number of ways, and none of them are. All of them have a path to be winners. Some of them will require more creativity and more skill, but they all can win. Uh, so if you have an affinity towards a faction in the book, go for that. If not, and you're playing war games in other systems, go for a gameplay style that you're comfortable with. But if you have nothing else, no reference to the lore, nothing, choose the prettiest ones for you, I think.
Yeah, I would like to agree also. Actually, we're also going into our last few minutes of the stream then para we can end early as well. So we'll maybe do a last question and then maybe we'll do the raffle. For the raffle, guys, medyo marami tayong prizes and we're sort of having technical difficulties. So Kaizen has pre-drawn some names. So honesty system na lang ni Kaizen. Hindi niya papakita yung
Hindi,
wheel.
ipapakita
Ah,
ko naman.
papakita mo.
Pwede
Ah,
naman
okay.
yung
Sige,
ganyan
sige, sige,
eh.
sige. So we'll do that later
Parang
after the last
Photoshop,
question.
Photoshop.
Oo.
Photoshop niya yung question. But but basically to end the last with the last question, no. Both of you actually Tayo, we've been sort of at the start of this whole Swift community thing. If someone would like to start a gaming community around a not so popular gaming system, what would be your advice for them? How would they start their own community if they stumble upon a system they want to spread?
Home games would be the start. You
Okay.
just need another player. So if you're about to get married, that should be part of your consideration whether your spouse will be playing this, right? If they're not gonna play it, like do not
Oh.
get married. No, I'm kidding. But just make sure you have another player to play against. And if you're starting a community for, let's say, a dead game, and we play a lot of dead games, make sure you have at least two starter factions because there's nothing better than the tactile experience of really playing it. And then don't get disappointed. Imagine I bought into Song of Ice and Fire maybe 4 years ago at this point, and we
Four
just really
years na pala?
started playing this. Huh? What?
4 years? Four
Mga
years?
3 to 4 years eh. Ganun na katagal to eh. It just didn't pick up in the
That's how
Philippines.
it started from the Kickstarter, no, Jay. We
Yes,
got
yeah.
into the Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so ganun yon. There's hope. There's always hope, no? There's a community of weirdos that you get to play with. It's just that I was lucky to find all these weirdos who would want to play Sith. I think we found each other. Maybe that's
Yeah.
the better term.
Mm.
Join ano guys, what's the name for the Facebook group, Jay?
Oh
Set
yeah,
PH.
yeah. A Song of Ice
Mhm.
and Fire, the miniatures game dash Philippines.
Yeah.
So
What
yeah,
we'll
and then we
link it
also have a
somewhere.
yeah. You put it somewhere. I don't know where you can put it, but and then there's also a chat group that's fairly active. as part of that community. So if you have questions, interested, you can always ask there.
We do
Um,
Amazon group buys also.
They do. They do.
So,
Kami ko.
where can people play locally?
Yeah,
What stores
hmm,
cater?
good question. Side quest is
You
one.
wanna
You
take
play
that,
that.
Owen?
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead, Owen.
Okay, go ahead. Dude.
So Louis mentioned side quest. It's we play there because there's enough tables and space for us to actually play. Um, and so it's pretty near the where we live, so that's why we gravitate to that. Um, there's also gears and games, which as mentioned earlier carries the game. Actually, if you're interested in seeing what's available, you can either go to the store or check fortressgames.net for what's available online. It's reflective of what's available actually in the store as well. So that's a place you can play. We play in friends' houses as well, but that's for convenience sake. But our main, kind of the main thing that we play in right now, like at least the the poor fellows, is side quest and sometimes in gamer
Gamer
shop.
shop.
Yeah, if you're a member of the store, you can go there and yeah, we play there as well. So yeah, then Jay's house has been open
Yeah.
as a as another venue.
If you're close with Jay, you can
If
ask
it's
him.
called Jay,
But
um,
Mm.
but ask us
Dragon
to
Forge
join the
actually
group.
allows, I think. Dragon Forge as well
Ayun.
allows
Yun.
gaming. Mm.
Oo. So ask anyone. I think as long as you see us, most of us in the community are quite how do you say, passionate about the game. So we're willing to demo it. Even if we
Sounds
don't have multiple
nice.
armies, we'll probably borrow one of our friends' armies and we'll demo it with you gladly. It's an easy game to teach.
Demo set.
You, ang
Demo
maganda,
set.
yan, yes. And if you're legit na to play, just download the app. It's called War Council. The updated rules are there. All the armies are there. You can make an army right then and there. And then you can learn.
oh yeah,
CR1,
the rules
diba?
are free by the way. The
The rules
rules
are
are
free. The updated rules are free. The updated cards are free. CR1, if you know him, he plays Imperial Guard and Warhammer. He just started a month or so ago, but he just kept reading the War Council app, and that's how we learned to play. So habang nag-aantay ng game, just read the rules, familiarize. You can shop already. Well, technically, make a wish list of things you want to buy. That's a good place to start also. And message anyone in the Song of Ice and Fire group. We're willing to make demos for you guys.
yeah.
Yun. Anything to add, guys, before we move to our raffle?
I
Josh,
guess I also want to
Ryan,
add
Josh,
like
Owen, go.
we have like a process for teaching the game in such a way that it's easy to absorb. Like the rules in itself, if you're a war gamer, seasoned war gamer, and other game systems, you probably get it right away, right from the onset. But if you just want to try, if this is your first game, um, like Jay has developed like a step-by-step guide on how to introduce someone, and it has proven effective. Like we'll play a very basic game. We cut out some of the rules that makes it more complicated, so just you get the feel of it, and then we can start introducing more rules. Probably by your third game, you're already playing like the full game. So yeah, there's a way to ease into it, and yeah, looking forward to
Ako,
anyone
the
who
only
wants.
thing I want to add is I want to point out the inclusivity of this group. Um, I think we have the highest percentage female gamers in all of
Woo!
miniature wargaming. So there are a
Let's
few
go,
competitively
girls.
playing female players, and then there's people like uh, Lucas, who we don't ask the gender of, pero he's still part of our community. So it's very inclusive. It's very inclusive. We welcome you, and it's a safe space, really.
He, she,
So if you're
gabe.
female, and you would like to try the game, and you're not comfortable playing with dudes, we actually have a good number of female players who can ease you into the game.
Can
Yeah,
vouch,
true.
girls. Can
Yeah,
vouch. I learned there.
yeah. CJ actually mentioned to me a while ago that he wants to have a, what do you call it? The all women's
Spear
tournament?
wives. So
Spear
yeah,
Spear
Wives
Wives
tournament.
tournament.
we floated that to CMON, a Spear Wives tournament of only female players. Um, playing in a tournament. Of course, it's not gonna be highly competitive if they don't want it to be, right? But it's at least a place where female empowerment in miniature wargaming can be touted, and
Mhm.
we can be proud that the Philippines would be the first country to do that if it does push through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good. All
Support,
right,
support.
Kai, take us away with the prizes. Roll down, guys. We have 8 prizes of t-shirts. Ay, di pala to. Game of Thrones t-shirts. We have 7 miniature sets to give away. How
No,
many?
that's three miniature
3
sets.
miniature sets to give away, and then 2
And
paint sets
two
from
sets.
Gating Games.
So we could start with what do you call this? We could start with the shirts. So first, ewan ko, makikita nyo ba? Okay, so
Hindi. Oh.
I'm gonna giving you solo
Parang
layout.
rig, parang rig.
first name,
Rig
let's
din
go,
pag si
let's
Jay. Pag
go.
si Jay yan, pare. Si Juno, oh.
Juan Miguel.
Oh, Juan
Ay,
Miguel
tama? Yeah,
Pereña.
Juan Miguel.
Alright,
Okay,
Juan
yeah.
Miguel
congrats.
Pereño, I think.
Okay, there's
Didn't he
another
win something
one.
before? Okay, so congrats, you get a shirt.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Oh, si Owen, oh. Oh,
Hindi.
hindi yan. Ako yan.
Yes!
Oh, Louis, you
Alright, I
want a
gotta give it
shirt?
one shirt. Nice. Alright. Six more,
Okay,
six
and then
more.
three
Mother of
more,
Dragons,
another
wow.
one.
Pangalan ko eh.
Tama
Yeah, I
nga
love
eh.
Targaryens. So, Michael
Michael
Dizon.
Dizon.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright.
there we
Michael
go.
Dizon.
Nice,
Congratulations.
nice.
Congratulations on the Game of
Congratulations.
Thrones
Five
t-shirt.
more. Five more people. I think it's Owen. Yeah. Yeah, Owen,
Oh,
congrats.
yeah.
Yeah,
Congrats,
yeah, no.
Owen.
Thank you.
By the way, guys, the shirts were
Ne-
May
donated by
TF ka na,
Tado.
Owen. May
So
TF ka na.
T-shirt fee pala.
he gave random shirts lang. Juno,
Okay,
Haynes.
shirts!
Haynes.
Juno.
Grabe! Dami
Juno
ng talunod ni Juno sa
Alcantara.
atin.
Okay, three more, three more.
Three more, three more. Oh, si Sir Carl.
Si Sir Carl,
Ah,
let's go.
yeah, IPMS
Okay.
resident.
Yes, yung mga normal viewers natin.
Second to the last. Si Sir
Vicky.
Dolamen. Very, very talented painter. Super talented
Okay,
painter.
last on the shirts. Let's see, let's see.
We have... Sayang si Emil, oh. Ayun lang, oh.
Ayun,
Sir
Carl.
Carl, congratulations. So we'll make
Okay.
we'll
This is
contact
for
all
the
the people
shirts?
later. Yan,
Yeah,
sige.
but to
Could you
double
screenshot?
check. Wait
Yan,
lang, wait.
screenshot and then send.
Screenshot ko, yan. Yan. Those are the
Yan.
names. Sensya na per production kami today.
So we'll contact the names of the winners and then we'll coordinate deliveries. These are donated by a random Tado from years ago before the pandemic. We don't know na who gave it, but the sizes are small, large, medium. I'm literally wearing a large of the same shirt. Sorry na lang if you get the small or medium. I don't think kakasya sa kahit sino man yung small or medium.
Sa tingin ko kasya sa
Para
atin.
sa mga SO na lang. Sa mga SO, kids, unan. Okay,
Pwede,
so
pwede.
for this is for the miniature sets from the Miniatures Guild. So the first set, let's see. Thank you, by the way, Miniatures Guild, for sponsoring and the
Mhm.
random Tado. Let's see, let's see. Miguel.
Ambalada. Oh, that's a new name. By the
Yeah,
way,
it's a
these
new
names are
name.
drawn from the people who entered our Glow Up competition. We'll post
That we
their
will
Glow Ups na lang.
feature na
Yeah.
lang next week.
This week. Yeah, we'll post their Glow Ups.
Oh,
Okay, Sir
and
Andrew, Tatanko.
okay, and
Last
then
winner.
last.
Oh, si Prince. Oh,
Ow!
okay.
It's me.
Okay. Ano, you want to raffle
for-
it off? Oh.
Yeah, forfeit na lang kay Prince. Congrats.
Okay.
Okay, for the paint sets,
That's
thank
usually
you
the two
for
paint sets.
GNG for featuring as well.
Yeah, so if you win the paint set, you have to like the page of GNG, before we can confirm sending you the prize. So make sure you like GNG's Facebook page right now. Congratulations to
Oh, si Archie.
oh,
Tama? Oh, si
RT.
Archie.
Munti ko nang hindi. Congrats, sir, on the paid sub
Grabe
by
naman, bro.
GNG.
Nice, 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 nice. Gusto ko rin ng
Probably Army
paid set.
Painter. I'm not so sure. We'll confirm yet. But definitely two paint sets. Thank you,
Boysen
Sir
mo,
Eric.
Boysen.
Poison.
And Mark
Sir Mark
Raymond.
Raymond. Yun. Nice. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Very
thank you,
good.
Tado. So, we'll post the screenshots later of the winners.
And their glow ups. Para lang ma-feature yung glow ups nila. And
Yes, we will
then
feature
definitely
it as
thank you to
well.
Miniatures Guild. Thank you to the TADO holding their t-shirts. And thank you to Gears and Games. Guys, Gears and Games, we specifically wanted to feature today kasi they are only home in SIF. So they are
Yes, they
official
are.
distributor of SIF here in the Philippines. Go to fortress.com. Mura lang ang SIF. One box set ng Warhammer, parang dalawang set ka na sa, or dalawang,
2 boxes na.
dalawang expansions. Oo. Dalawang ganito ka na sa SIF. So,
Yeah.
good deals yun. Thank you, Owen, and thank you, Jay, for joining us.
Thank you for
tonight's
having
stream.
us.
To everyone for
Thank
joining.
you for having us.
Thank you. We won't steal any one of your time anymore, guys. This is our
Yes.
Usap
Before we
Tado.
go, I forgot. This upcoming weekend, guys, don't forget, we will finally show the teaser for the upcoming Philippine Tados merch, which is, I know, guys, it took months yung hinihintay and request, and it's finally gonna come out, and we're gonna be opening the pre-order this weekend na. And oh, there you go, there's a shirt. Bakit may white stain dyan,
Gamit na,
Louie?
gamit na.
Alam mo na.
Bakit may white
Louis?
stain?
Louis?
Louis?
Bit na yung-
Louis,
gamit na,
why
gamit na.
does...
Sorry.
Louis?
Louis, wait,
now.
Louis?
Oh, I can put wash.
What have you been doing?
Louis, we
Parang-
have seen what you do with that apron. Why is there a white stain?
Louis, parang I can't imagine it. Kasi I plan to use it shirtless. So, can you demo how it looks shirtless?
Oh!
Ah!
I'll send the picture.
Funny that you say that.
Di
So
ba yung gamit in
funny.
the shower na rin, di ba? Naliligo ka sa shower. Baka ganun din. Apron,
I'll show you
ligo.
the picture.
Sa chat,
Louis,
marami
what
na
was it?
nagtatanong sa chat, ano daw yung stain, Louis? What's the white stain daw?
Alam mo, kung alam nyo talaga
Abangan,
yung white
susunod.
stain, alam nyo na hindi, na pintura to. Kung matutumi talaga yung utak nyo, clear yun, hindi yun kita. True, bastos would know, hindi kita yan.
I just got a message. Someone's volunteering to re-demo to you. Si Amy, Mother of
Oh,
Dragons.
wow.
Amy
Yeah.
just volunteered
Yes!
that she will demo the game to you again. Okay?
Yes,
Thank you,
let's
Amy.
make it a day. Let's make it a day sa
Thank
lounge.
you,
Because the lounge
Amy.
wants more people playing in the lounge. So, let's make a day. I'll contact Sir Alex and let's drag people in. Kasi I've heard like a lot of people wanna try SIF. But lahat kayo sa north eh. And alam mo naman kami, ayaw namin mag-travel.
We'll go to you.
We can
Yeah,
schedule the
man.
paint jam the same day.
Yeah,
Oh,
paint
okay.
jam is
I could teach
tentatively
painting
at
as
our
well.
home.
Yeah. We could
Yeah.
demo
So,
how to
nasa
paint
Friday?
in the
Sa Friday na
lounge.
ba yan?
Wala.
Wait lang.
First
Kidding.
weekend of March. That's maybe.
Okay,
Oh,
let's put a
yeah.
pin on that. But yes, guys, upcoming na yung pre-orders. The prices will also be posted. And just look forward. The quality are amazing. So many Tados have already finally tested it. Tinesta ni Louie, nadumihan niya na nga eh. So, yes, very, very excited. So, pretty much that's it. And thank you guys. We are already at 70 subscribers. Woo!
Oh, wow.
We're growing. Yes,
Great.
we're growing. Woo! So, yes, and we're almost 3,000 members in the Philippine Tados. Almost na. Konti na lang. But yeah, that's it,
Okay.
guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you talaga, Jay and Owen, for being in the show. And we're very thankful for you guys for being an amazing pioneer for SIF. And guys, don't forget, halapin ta.
All right.
Ah,
Very good. Halapin ta, guys.
bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
Let's see
everyone.
if Josh can end the stream. Kaya mo ba,
Yes.
Josh?
Josh,
I can.